I am a temple who walks the earth. My womb is fertile for giving birth. I am a woman planted in truth. I grow my branches from sacred roots. You are the form of who you want to be. So come untethered, your soul is free. We're here to heal, we're here to thrive. We are a dream who's come alive. We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination for God's sake. A revelation for God's sake. An evolution for God's sake. An inspiration for God's sake. 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 For God's sake.
And so it is. Hello, Essence. This is Jody England, and you are listening to Wild Soul Medicine Radio. So good to be back with you, fresh off of my birthday weekend and newly invigorated with life force and creative impulse. And I just returned from spending a weekend in Northern California with some beautiful, wild, holy women. And it was such a departure. I shared with my list that in the past, I've always used my birthday as a manifestation of my great mother soul path, which is not enough. Like, I'm not enough, and I'm abandoned, and I'm left alone. And I was one of 3 children, and my brother and sister had birthdays that were just a few days apart, but a few weeks before my birthday. And so growing up, we would always have a big family birthday party for their birthdays. And then by the time my birthday rolled around, everybody was sick of birthday cake and kind of over the party. And of course, you know, I always framed that as I'm less important. There's not enough for me. And because I had that story, I often manifested that for myself with, you know, one of the birthdays that sticks out the most was my mom was a nurse, and she got called into work on my birthday. And so my dad made a microwave snack cake. Remember those little cakes that used to come in a cardboard pan that you could microwave? He and I had that by ourselves at the kitchen table for supper. I have no idea where my siblings were, but you know, it's such a perfect example of how our lives are driven by our soul paths, you know? And so whatever your wounding is, it's the lens that you put on what you see. And it's also because it's how you vibrate and the lens that you're putting on everything, it's what you attract and create. So even as I became an adult, I would push off the, you know, when people would ask what I wanted to do for my birthday, or my husband and I early on made an agreement that we wouldn't buy each other any presents for our birthdays. And if you know the 5 love languages, I'm actually a 0 on gifts. I don't like giving them, and I've never liked receiving them. And so, you know, all of that is just what it looks like when you're a great mother and you've got more energy out than in. And so you can't actually allow yourself to be celebrated and loved and appreciated. And so this year, I consciously decided that I wanted to honor myself. And it's not a particularly special year or anything. I'm 43 years old. But I just felt like, you know, this year I want to reverse this pattern. I really want to celebrate what I've created, where I am on my evolutionary path, you know, just me, you know. And so I had committed to join this weekend a few months ago, where I was going to fly out to California and, you know, do this really decadent celebration. of sisterhood. And then all of the stuff has been happening, right? With the big journey and the the huge experience on Equinox weekend, and then the kidney stone after that, and all of the health issues. And so, I could barely even stand up 4 days before I was supposed to leave. And so I had called the women and said, I'm not going to actually be able to make it. And one of my beautiful and most wise sisters called me a day or so later and said, I really honor where you are. And if you can't make it, you can't make it. And it feels to me like the very fact that you're not fully well and not fully in your power is exactly why you should come and let us love you. Yep, she's that wise. And so, we talked about it, and I talked about it with my husband. And, at the point that I let go of all of the judgment of what would people think if I did this and then it actually compromised my health or didn't go well, or even just the idea that I was going after having been so down and out, is it irresponsible, all of that. And why I'm telling you this story is because today we're going to be playing with, I'm going to be helping you clear things that are blocks on your soul path, that are a result of the frames that you put on and the underlying vibration that you bring to your life. And it's just tricky. It's so pervasive. We don't even know these things are happening. And, and the other thing I would say is these particular issues for me, like the equinox experience and the kidney stone, were for a bigger purpose, right? So they had a big piece of my, thousands of years soul path. And this is also what happens. Like, as you prepare to step out of a pattern for yourself, what tends to occur is all of the stuff that's in the way of you taking the step out will show itself. So for me, it's like, I was going to celebrate myself in this brand new way, but now I'm sick. And now I really shouldn't be going. And so it's like a bit of an upper limit. And so when you notice these things happening, typically the best thing to do is to go ahead and take the bold action to unravel the pattern. So doing the opposite of what you've normally been doing is what shifts the vibration. So when I said yes, and then I went there, of course, the entire weekend for me ended up being about receiving gifts and being alive, and actually receiving the very deepest gift of tapping into the creative life force within me. Because I've been getting all these messages about, in this blank page time, what's really important for me is creativity and art and writing. And I used to love those things. And then I, haven't done them much since I became a quote grown up. And I had them filed in my space as frivolous in some way, right? Like, am I really going to waste this valuable time of newness and possibility to paint pictures? Shouldn't I be doing something more productive? And another of my very wise friends, who is really a woman of the modern Renaissance, she's very much an artist and a connoisseur of beauty. And she said, I'd like you to reframe that word. That frivolous is, in this puritanical belief system that we operate in, that there is something wrong with pursuits that are of beauty and of creation, because I would say that's really the vibration that we're here to bring to the planet at this time, we're letting go of this belief that if we're not struggling for something, that it's not valuable. And so I feel like, so many gifts from being with these amazing women, and literally nearly every one of the women, some of them I hadn't even met before, gave me the most special, magical gifts that I'm just delighting in. And I really feel like not only did I shift this pattern of celebrating myself and allowing myself to be, honored for incarnating. But I really shifted my relationship to magic here on this planet, and delight and creativity and life force. And so it feels really juicy. And I hope it inspires you. If there's something you're considering shifting or doing that's out of your normal pattern, that you say yes to it. Yes, in a big, big way, so that you can allow that bold action to begin unraveling. And today we're going to play with the other way that you can unravel these patterns, right? So bold action in the opposite direction is one. And, of course, in conjunction with that, we must be tending to the energetics underneath. We have to be playing in the realm of what are these subconscious vibrations that have us showing ourselves in these same ways over and over and over. So there's not really a particular topic today. We don't have to talk about money. We don't have to talk about relationships. Really, anything is up. And my intention is that you bring a piece where, you can see a pattern showing up, or there's something you've been trying to let go of, but you're finding yourself still doing the same things. And you would like some extra eyes to help you see what is this thing really about and how is it put together. And then we will play at moving the energy of it so that you might be free. So I think we already have some callers, but you are welcome to call in as well. The number to call in is 937-552-2747, 937-552-2747. And just so you know, once I start speaking with a caller, Viv isn't able to actually answer the line. So if I'm already talking to a caller, you'll call and it'll just ring and ring. But in between callers, there will be an opportunity to try to get through again. So just note that for yourself. And with that, I'd like to just go ahead and take our first caller. So let's start playing and see who's here. And while we wait for Viv to catch up on the transmission so that she can get someone sent over, let's all just receive a fresh breath of awareness together. So close your eyes, allow yourself to take a big, deep breath in as you settle into this space, and we all just prepare for what's coming. Sorry, Viv, you may have to put that one through again. I had Skype coming through on both of my computers, so I just shut the other one down. So I'm ready now. Whew. So much good stuff. I actually love these days when we get to play together. I might actually have a caller here. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just wait one more minute. I'm pretty sure I don't have somebody on the call. And if you're new to the show, one of the things that you can know about the way this works is even if you're not in the hot seat, you can still clear along with the woman that I'm talking to. So I'll kind of cue you in how that goes. But just know that this is for you too, even if you're not actually able to get through live on the line. So with that, let's say hello here. That I'm talking to. So hi, this is Jody. You're on the, you're live. Who's this? Actually able to get through live on the line. So hi, can you hear me?
Hi, this is.
Hello. You may have your phone muted, so just check into that in case. Let's see here. I don't actually see you. I can kind of hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's see here.
I can hear your radio, but I can't actually hear your voice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hang up. It looks like, I'm not sure what that's about. So let's just try again. So Viv, you want to maybe try the next caller? Let's see if it's that caller or if there's something on my line. Just bear with us. We'll see if we can figure this out. I know the line is working though, because I could hear her computer in the background. So I'm thinking it might just be something on her end, hopefully. I could sing you a song while we wait. There's about a 10-second delay between me talking and it actually broadcasting. So by the time Viv hears that I need a new caller, then it takes a minute for her to actually put someone through. So bear with us just a minute. We'll see if we can get somebody here on the line. All right. Everybody cross your fingers. Here we go. Hi, this is Jody. Who's this? Oh, no.
Everybody cross your fingers. Here we go.
I still can't hear you.
Hi, this is Jody. Who's this?
Hi, this is Ruthie.
Hey, yay. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hear you. Hi, this is Jody. Who's this?
Oh, goodness.
This is Ruthie.
We have some gremlins in our lines today. I don't think what to do about that. Just check my connections here for a second. Okay, let me try one more.
I actually can't hear you through my headphones.
Are you calling from your from a telephone or from your computer, love?
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello?
Okay, how's that? Can you hear
That's
me?
better. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yay. All right. Awesome. We did it. We figured it out. Sorry about that. I think I had my
No worries.
my one thing plugged into the wrong jack. So here we are. Welcome. So can you tell me your name one more time?
Yes, it's Ruthie.
Ruthie, that's what I thought you said. Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
So tell me, what is happening with you? Where are you stuck, or where would you like some support?
So this year I started everything new and been going through just a lot of seeking truth and a lot of soul searching, and I've been able to clear a few things. Of course, with women, they've helped me along the way. And I feel like I'm about to birth something new, but I'm having, I feel like I have a roadblock right now, and I can't figure out what it is. Like something is not allowed. I think it's myself, truthfully, but I just can't figure out how to move almost like myself out of the way to be able to share my gifts.
Got it. Great. And yeah, I love that you identified that. It's always ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always ourselves, which is why, the difficult thing is when we try to do it from a mind space, it's almost impossible to figure it out, because 96% of what is happening in our lives is a result of our subconscious. So we don't know why we're doing the thing. We don't know why we're afraid to birth the new creation. So I'd love to just have you give me one more sentence or two specifically about, is your question what wants to birth, or do you have a sense of what wants to birth? And then I get that the question under that is like, what's in the way of that, right?
Right. I think I know what wants to birth. I'm in the middle of a life coaching program that I really like, but I've also been studying with Sora on healing circles, and I feel like I want to combine the two, and that's what wants to birth. I think it's just like fear of not being, knowledgeable, not having enough. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, so now coming into this new role is very scary for me, because I feel like for so long I haven't been wanting to be heard or seen. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. So as I was looking into the energy, I mean, it actually, the visibility piece to me looks like what's really up for you, because I see you almost like you're standing behind this giant boulder. It's actually a crystal boulder. It's really beautiful. But I see you kind of like peeking out from behind it.
And it looks like there's a sense that to be seen would be some monumental task. Like the way it is in your system is it feels like it would take so much energy to become visible that there would be no way to do that on your own, right? That's why it feels like a birth, because it's like, wow, that's, it's such a big block in your system. So that's what I'd like to play with you on if you're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so let's just see. I'm going to take a look at how this is put together. And if that's your cell phone that's beeping, if you want to just maybe move that away from the microphone or buzzing, yeah that would be awesome. Thanks. Great. So let's just feel, I'm trying on a couple of things of like where our entry point is into this. Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at like, well, what if we had you step out from behind the boulder and it looks like you would just keep inching around, almost like holding it in front of you. So stepping out is not yet the option. So it feels to me as I tap into like, what's the energy of that big boulder? Like, what's the payoff, or where did your system learn that invisibility is a good thing? And it feels like there's a lot of lineage stuff, like definitely in your family of origin. It feels like that's part of the MO, that everybody is, it feels very much like the norm was we got to stand shoulder to shoulder, nobody stepping out of line or nobody having the spotlight. Is that true?
Yeah. It is. I grew up in a Latin household, so it was very like machismo, where the men were the ones that kind of got all the credit and was seen, and the women kind of were in the background.
Yep, got it.
In the kitchen.
Got it. I mean, it even looks like there's some fear about being seen actually drawing like aggressive attention to you, like that there's like a sort of a feminine lack of safety under that as well. And on top of that, kind of the bigger piece is this individuation looks like the problem, like who am I to be the one standing in front of the circle, Yeah. So it's like you're drawn to the circles because it's a way of everyone standing side by side. But then the fear is like running the circle actually has you step out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Love that. So let's see. I'm just going to scan your body and see where we might. Great. So it looks to me like the block is actually sort of between your heart space and your solar plexus. So it's a little higher than your solar plexus. And it looks like there's a mothering aspect to it. Like I see it's really in your bosom, like, wanting to make sure no one's left behind and like herding all the chicks, Yeah, my guess is you're probably some mix of shapeshifter and great mother archetype.
Definitely shapeshifter.
Yep, I see that. And, and so the scary thing about shapeshifting is, that's exactly what a shapeshifter would do is I want to be with everyone. I love that we're all together and we're all happy and we're all relating. And then the unraveling of the shapeshifter soul path is becoming an individual, right? Like actually not running your energy through everyone else, but allowing it to be its own thing. That's the terrifying unraveling for a shapeshifter, right?
Yes.
So we're going to just try a little experiment here. So I'd like you to imagine that you're in one of these circles that you've been playing at learning to lead. Okay. And I'd like you to imagine that you're actually, because so far you've been still in the circle while you've been learning, and your teacher's out front. And so I'd like you to just feel yourself kind of sitting there in the row with the other women. And I want you to notice how, if you could tune in to your attachment to those women that you're sitting among, like see if you can see that visual of how you have these energy tendrils kind of running through the women that are beside you, and then you have some that kind of run across the circle You know, it's like, it's a way that you feel other people when you're there, which is what's going to make you a great facilitator, right? Because you have this ability to track how people are doing and feeling in the group, you know?
Yeah.
And so let me know if you can feel those and see those as I talk about them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great. And so what we're going to play with here, so this is one of your superpowers, but it's also got a shadow to it, right? As all of our superpowers do. So it serves you, and then where it doesn't serve you is when you can't call those tendrils in when you want to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because when you need to step in the circle, you're going to have to be able to do that with all of your resource, like your individual resource, so that you can hold that space for everyone rather than getting drugged down into it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're just going to play. I want you to imagine that you can choose one of those tendrils and start to unweave it from the women it runs through and bring it back inside yourself. We'll just do one at a time and kind of see how that feels. Yeah, good. Yep, keep playing with it. Yeah, good. So what do you notice? What do you notice as you start to unravel that one?
I feel a sense of calmness with like a vibration around that, like a tingling around that. There'd be a little bit of fear, but the calm with having that energy of the other women around me.
Yeah, great. Good. That's what I saw too. So you did a great job beginning to unravel it. Then there was some fear as you considered taking it all the way inside yourself. And then you did it, and there was some fear that you had done it, but it was like, well, I've still got some out there, so that's good. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let's do the next one and see what happens.
Okay.
Good. That one looked like even maybe a little easier, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Great. So let's pull in the next one. Perfect. Now you're getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Let's pull in the next one. I see there's maybe like a couple more. Good. Great. So let me know when it feels like you have all of them that you see.
Yeah, that feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Good. So from here, I'd like you to imagine that you can actually stand up and walk into the center of the circle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Great. So notice that bit of anxiety that begins to kind of come up in your system, right? There's some self-consciousness and there's some like just jitteriness in your nervous system around that. Do you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, we're just going to become aware of it. We don't have to actually shift anything. Some of this is actually just energy moving out of your system. Mm-hmm. Great. And then what I'd like to have you do, right, because your system is a little confused. Like, well, if I'm not filling up with all of them, then what would I fill up with, right? Because so far in your life, what you've learned is you take your cues of relating from other people. So you kind of show up as the blank page. And then based on who you're relating with, it's like, then you meet that. You know, I can be like cute or funny or, you know, up or down based on what they are. And so without those cues, there's this sense of like, well, who would I be or what would I do? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I want you to imagine that, actually, if you want to disappear the circle for a minute, because that's a lot of pressure to do this work inside the circle. So yeah, let's imagine they're away. So this is just you getting to play with you. All right. I want you to feel into right in your solar plexus. Actually, it is for you. It's between there, right? There's a few reasons for that. So it's between the solar plexus and the heart space. There's a place where your essence lives. right? The essence is who you are without all the story. And so I want you to imagine that you can find the place in there where there's a volume knob for your essence. All right, and let me know if you can find that.
Yes.
Yep, and let's imagine the volume knob goes from 0 to 10. And just without judgment, just take a look and see what is your essence knob turned on right now.
Between a 1 and a 2.
Yeah. Very low, because you have to keep it low in order to be completely available for whoever you're matching, right?
Right.
So that's been a really good strategy up until now. And, you know, you did that for lots of reasons because it was just safer where you grew up and the way that you, the environment that you were in to match what everybody else was doing. There were already a lot of big personalities around, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's play in this moment with what would happen if we just slowly begin to turn that volume knob up, right? So let's just turn it up to a 3 and kind of pause and see what that feels like. Yep. And then let's go to a 4. Try that on. Yep, good. You move really quickly. That's good. Fun. So let's go ahead and move to a 5. Yeah. What do you notice at the 5?
It's almost like this fun, playful dance girl wants to come out and kick around and lots of light and sunshine.
Yeah, right? Love that. Very inspiring, right? Great. So let's try a 6 on. Yeah. What happens at the 6?
That playfulness went away. It was almost like a much stronger woman.
Yeah, kind of like a landing.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Good. Let's go ahead and go to a 7 then. Good. And then just keep turning it up. And you don't even actually have to stop or pause now unless it feels like you get stuck. So just keep turning it up. Good. Let me know when you get all the way to a 10.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Notice how out of 10, you start to sort of lose this ability to track other people. I mean, you start to lose the ability lower down. You start to lose it even about like 6 or 7 because you're more full of you than them, you know? And then at 10, it's kind of like you don't even know tracking other people is a thing.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. So
That's
it's
not even on my radar at 10.
Exactly. It's not like, am I doing this right? Do I have to become visible? Am I visible enough? It's like that all just disappears.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're just you.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's the space to play with, right? So what you could do from here is you could, I'm going to let you do this on your own so we can play with some other women too. But, you know, you can imagine, like, can I be in the center of a group out of 10? You know, what would that feel like? Or, you know, even if you could be in the center of a group at 7 or 8, you know, so there, you still have a sense of you and you have a sense of them, but there's this separation now, which there wasn't before. So it gives you the capacity to lead rather than constantly be joining, right? And then as you play with this exercise, you can become choiceful about joining. So there's going to be times when you're going to pull out the superpower, like you're going to scan the group or run your energy up under the cracks and see, okay, what do we need here? What's being called for in the group? And then you're going to come back into yourself and deliver that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Infinitely more powerful. infinitely more effective for you and them, right?
Right.
Because if you don't do that, if you just keep merging with them, not only is it hard to put yourself in the center, but it becomes really draining because you're actually running everybody else's fears and blocks and density, right? You do that in your life too, and it gets pretty heavy to carry everybody else all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the untamed shapeshifter is still a shapeshifter, but she does it at her own choicefulness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. Any questions or thoughts about any of that?
So, I mean, it makes so much sense because I've always taken on other people's energy, which has always been so draining for me, and it's quite exhausting. Mm-hmm. Do I just work with keeping my energy to myself, not taking on people's energy, and just continuously finding my center?
Yeah, you just said a mouthful with all of that. Yes to all of that. And we have a soul medicine path class that's coming out in the next 6 weeks or so. And it will have specific energy tools for each of the paths. So for you, they will be those types of things where it's like, for now, you can just do what we did here. You can come back and listen to this same exercise or do any version of it. So you're going to be paying attention to, is my energy in me or is it somewhere else? And if it's somewhere else, can I bring it back into me? Right. And then, the second piece for you is, can I fill up with myself? Right? Because when you're full of yourself, there's no room to there's no desire or room to pull people's energy into you. Right? So that's another way that you can work with it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good work. All right. Thank you so much for letting us see and for the work that you're up to in the world. It looks like it's going to be, very impactful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ruthie.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we wait for our next caller, let's go ahead and all just receive a breath, reveling in that beautiful shapeshifter medicine. Even if you're not a shapeshifter or you don't know what you are, that's good medicine for all of us, because as women, we're constantly taking on other people's energies and other people's stuff. Right? So we can all benefit from that exercise of collecting our own energies back in and then turning up the essence so that we are full of ourselves. Beautiful. All right. So let's say hello to our next caller. Hi, this is Jody. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Jody. It's Michelle. And I'm so happy that you celebrated yourself after all of those things that you went through.
Thank you. Thank you. That feels good to hear. And it was really good to experience. So thank you. So tell me about you.
That's kind of, I guess, maybe the trigger is, I'm very emotional. I want to quit my path. Wow. I just fell down. I want to quit my path. And this pattern of the fight, and I'm excited the soul path is coming up, but this warrior, this internal fight that keeps going on, it just, I want awareness around this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me what you're fighting right now. Like, where is the fight showing up in your life?
I think it's just to be who I am.
Mm-hmm. I can actually, let's just begin here because I can feel the fight in your system. It's almost like your nervous system is out of control, like it's like there's this flailing sort of raging that almost looks like it's disconnected from you, you know, like it's, I feel like let's calm some of that first so you can actually be here, and then we'll see if there might be a next step. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just tune in here for a second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is like it's disconnected from you. It's like there's a space. So here's your body. There's a space in front of you, and then there's this like energetic flailing out in front, and it looks like shaking fists, and it looks like struggle, and yeah. So I'm just tuning into that to see, is that even you?
Yeah. So is it like an entity or something, or? I mean, do you believe in those kind of things?
I mean, I do believe in those things, and it's it doesn't exactly feel like an entity. It feels like it's some past life stuff, and it feels like it's some other people's energy, and it also feels like it's a what do I want to say? Like it's a crack, like there's a fracture in you, in your beingness, like it hasn't been safe to be in, or there's been this flailing piece and you haven't been able to do something with it. So to be safe, you've pushed it out in front, which was a good strategy because you didn't really know what it was. But now it can't actually be healed because it's out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what it is, but let's just see. I mean, it's an energy thing. Everything's energy. So let's just play with it. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to tune in and see. It's kind of like out in front of you just a little bit. It's still in front of you, but it's to the right side of the front of you. So just see if you can tune into it at all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not something that's going to hurt you, right? It is you. It's a piece of you. It's a conjuring of you. It's, you know, it's so it's not dangerous. So I want you to actually imagine you can put a hand out in front of you, and like if you could just put a hand on and kind of feel the energy of what's coming out of that swirling mass of struggle, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just see what you can notice about it.
It's like a porcupine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like it reminds me of like a Tasmanian devil. It's like swirling and churning, and there's elbows flinging out of it, and like
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what when I said before, like the comment, it feels like a lot of like old energetic patterns, like just kind of working its way through my system lately.
Mm-hmm.
And it's prickly, and it's pissing people off, and it's like, and I just want to go into hiding, because to go out into the world, it's prickly. It doesn't feel easy, and and I hope that it's like a stage of the journey, because I wouldn't want to stay in the middle of that for too long.
Totally. I mean, it's curious. It's really unusual, and I think it's a testament to the complexity of your abilities and your system, right? That you could create this and house it kind of out here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm admiring it. I'm like, what is this? This is fascinating. I really like it.
Well, I tell you, it does feel like there's like some power, like when you say superpower, like there is something within me that has immense ability, and maybe I'm shying away. I'm sure I'm shying away from it. And so maybe I've put some of that magic or power in that Tasmanian devil, and so that's why maybe I'm keeping it close to me, because there's something there for me.
It's more of that. It feels like you pull this thing in because then it keeps you from actually doing the things you're capable of doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's almost like, like having a TV show on in the background all the time, you know, a very intense, like distracting one. But it's, as I look at it, it's almost like you have a lasso around it, you know? And in some ways you could do this in your sleep. Like it's not as hard as it might look, but it is super distracting. So I get curious about, let's play with, can you feel the lasso? Can you imagine that around there? And then, you're kind of like, holding it in your hands. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just play with like, what if you could, I want to do a couple things. I want to open up some light. So let's open up like, an invitation for some, like a big opening of light from the highest level of creation up above this thing. Yep. So that it has a place to go when we release it, because it's a few things, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to invite it up to the highest level of creation so that it can get sorted and put where it needs to be, right? But we don't actually have to do that sorting. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you can even imagine this like golden column of light coming down to the mass. And so it's just an invitation. We're not going to force it. It's not about extracting or like, making anything happen, but we're just going to be inviting this thing to move up and out, right? So it's a process of it hearing the invitation and you deciding that you're willing to let it go. Okay. Yeah, so let's just play with what happens as you consider dropping the lasso. Can you do that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also notice that tendency of like, well, I dropped the lasso, but like, who else will hold on to this? And then, but there's a lot in there and I'm really used to it. So there's like almost wanting to pick it back up,
Yeah. There is a wanting to pick it back up.
Yeah, totally. So be really honest with yourself about that, because that's part of the patterning, is like, I want to let go of this, but I can't. And I think we talked about that in the tribe at one point, like it's not like this karmic thing that you have to wait here and keep struggling. It's more of you can choose to unravel the pattern. And part of the choosing is understanding why you haven't unraveled it already,
Yes.
Yeah, good. All right, so I'm just going to check and see in your system. Okay, so one of the things that would need to happen in your system to make it easier to not pick that thing up would be some rooting in. So I'd like you to imagine actually that you could drop some grounding vines right through the bottoms of your feet. And give yourself some like really, almost like those vines could go down to the center of the earth and wrap around it 3 times. There you go. Yep, and even like widen your stance a little bit. Good. And then just loosen everything up. So it's not like you're being tied down. Like, they let them have like some elasticity, and so you can move freely. You're not tethered. They're not clumsy. It's just like you have longer legs now.
Okay.
There you go. Good. All right, so that feels better. Let's just see what else needs to happen. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is I'd like to run some safety through your system, right? So there's part of, so this is the flip side of the warrior path. It's this part that we're not tuned into as much. But the reason we fight is because inherently at the bottom of our system, we don't feel the world is safe, right? So then we have to constantly be battling so that we can try to create a feeling of control, which equals safety for us, Yeah. So what better way to create safety for your system than lassoing the whirling dervish to prove like, look, even this much chaos I can handle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, because you are very powerful. So I'd like to imagine... let's bring it in from the bottom. So let's bring in some warm, brownish, sparkly gold energy from the center of the earth. And let's bring it up through your system and allow it to run right through your nervous system so that each nerve ending all the way out to the ends is getting the memo of safety, right? Your home is here. You are on this earth. Your feet are on the ground. You can't fall off, right? You're safe. Yeah. Just imagine opening up those pathways, opening up those energetic highways. You don't have to do anything. The earth wants to hold you. She wants to mother you. Ah, there you go. Good. Just feel those muscles begin to relax. Feel your system start to settle. Feel those shoulders drop. There you go. Yeah, good job. Good job. How does that feel to you?
Better.
Good. Good. So from this place, check the light, right? So we've got the light up above. We've got the light shining down with the invitation to come. And then when you're ready, imagine you can let go of the lasso and kind of even give a little push to the bottom of almost like it's a helium balloon. Just give it a little push toward the light and allow it to go up and away.
Okay.
Yep. Beautiful. And then we're just going to imagine, I'd like to, let's see. I'm just going to draw a few symbols here so we can kind of like close the roof there, right? So even if later you feel a lack of safety, you don't reach up for that anymore. So just, and in fact, I'm going to invite in a couple of your guides to just hold that space while you get used to not having it. Yeah, you got a couple helpers coming in for that. Yeah, it's like they're creating a tent for you to rest in, you know? Like you don't have to be tending to those upper matters anymore. Yeah, and then what you can do, right? So there's a sense in the body of like, well, what do I do with this extra hand that's, you know, usually so busy holding this thing? It's like you wrap it around yourself. You know, you can just give yourself a hug with both of your arms and feel the safety that you can create for yourself that way. And so it is. How does that feel, my love?
Much better. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. What a joy. And, you know, I just want to say, like, you know, you made that look very easy, but what you just let go of was a really big deal. A really big deal. Not only for you and for the people you process for, but for all of the energies that were in that ball of stuff, you know, because now they're free too.
Oh, yes. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm celebrating you. This is birthday. Wahoo!
It does feel like a rebirth. I've been going through that, and now that feels like the celebration part of the birth.
Yeah. Now you can start exploring, like, what's actually here? Like, really, what am I? And what's, you know, what is there actually to deal with, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So much love to you.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So are you. All right, sweetheart. Bye for now. Talk to you soon.
Bye for now.
Wow. All right. Let's celebrate a big breath on that one. Whew. Such good stuff. Yeah. Yay, Michelle. And yay to all of you. Now, this is what I love about working with energy is we don't have to give things a label. We don't have to make it be difficult. We don't even always have to understand the whys and the how of how all of that stuff gets put together. We can sometimes just move it. We can just be done with it. So we can get on to things that are more important and do require our actual attention. So we're always in this dance between, these things we don't know about, these energetic things in our subconscious and under the surface, and then the practical steps of like actually what we're doing out in the world. So I just celebrate that, as a collective, we're beginning to tend to both sides of that coin rather than just the masculine, like, why don't I just do my purpose? Or why don't I step in the middle of the group? Or why don't I stop fighting when I know I should? We're not spinning our wheels in that alone anymore. We're actually moving into this more feminine way of knowing and being and navigating, which is infinitely more productive. All right. So as I tune into our time, gosh, I'm really tempted to take one more caller. I think I am going to do that. I know we're at the top of the hour, but I want to take one more. So Viv, if we have one more caller, let's put that through. We'll wait just 1 minute. Everybody can take a breath. And, you can ride along with these women. So even if you don't know if you have something like Michelle, you could also just say, I match the clearing that just happened. So anything in my system that isn't mine that would serve me to let go of, I do that now. I match the energy of what just happened. And then just imagine opening up your energetic fingers and letting it go. Yep, that's how energy works. All right, so we're going to take our last caller for today. Hi, this is Jody. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn. I'm glad you made it through. I know you've been waiting.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Welcome. So tell me, what's on your mind? How can I help you today?
Well, the area where I'm stuck is I'm a parenting coach, and I really know that the world needs my help, but I stopped working after my first client because I feel like I can't advertise my services because I'm scared that people will see my kids' behavior and not hire me. If that makes any sense.
I know that one. Yeah, I do. And I would say that actually, first of all, thank you for being brave enough to come on the air and talk about it. It's one of my favorite topics because I coach coaches. And I don't know one coach ever, including myself, who doesn't go through this process of feeling like a huge hypocrite, right? Because there's this bill of goods we get sold that, once you get certified, you're going to be A-okay, and then you're going to go out and make everybody else A-okay. And, as you listen to my work, my biggest tenet is there is no done. There is no done. The whole reason we need coaches is because we're all still figuring it out. Including me. And so, consciously, I want to just speak to your brain for a minute, and then we're going to go move some energy. But, one of the most freeing things you could do with parents is talk about the fact that your kids aren't perfect and you're not perfect.
Yeah. Right?
Rather than trying to sell them an idea that if they just do this or that, everything's going to be great. Yep. Yeah. So I feel like there's a question underneath that for you, right? And I want to there you go.
There is. So there's a couple of things going on. Basically, after I found my first client, I just kind of just froze up, and I did my 10 weeks of service with her. And then once I kind of figured out how difficult it is, at least for me, to search out clients, it completely freaked me out. And I feel like I'm a bit of an introvert, and I feel like the only way to get clients is really to push my way into the world and sell, and I can't do it. It just feels really unauthentic, and I just right now it's making me sweat.
Yeah, that's what I was more tuned into. I felt the locking up, you like you opened. It's a little bit like a pill bug, or a turtle, but it's more like the pill bug. It's like they open, and then as soon as they have the slightest touch, they roll into a ball, and then you can't really actually get to them anymore. So So I have two things to say about that. The first one is, again, this kind of general, this is what happens with being a solopreneur with every single one of us, because, you know, your business, when you're a coach, your business is really an extension of you. So any place you're not clear gets magnified times 1,000 in your business continuously over and over. So, you know, what I always say is being a coach or being any kind of entrepreneur is going to be your greatest spiritual teacher. You know, not that, I mean, one way to say it is your business is your greatest spiritual teacher, but it's like being in business is the greatest spiritual teacher, because it's there that every little shadow of I'm not enough, I have to get business, what will people think of me? You know, all of those pieces are going to continually present themselves, and it's not going to go away. Like 10 years from now, you're going to get clients that are going to show up with the same issues you're then dealing with. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to coach them, but I'm doing the same thing, you know, still happens to me. And we just normalize it. Around here, we just normalize it because that's actually how energy works. Is like attracts like. So of course you're going to get clients who have exactly the same issues with their kids that you're having with yours.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean you can't help them. It just means that there's clearing for both of you that's going to happen simultaneously, you know? So, yes. Okay. So let's just see what can be moved today. What I'd like to do is actually find a place to move you out of some of the freeze that you're in. There's a lot to navigate. So there are many layers here to actually sort through that relate to your soul path and that relate to some deeper layers. But like in the next 10 minutes, let's just see if we can move you out of some of that freeze so you can actually get into some kind of motion. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. I hesitate to even say get you in motion because it's more about like having you open. It's the motion that's the trigger for you, right? Yeah. Okay, so I want you to feel into that mechanism in your center. I actually feel it in your solar plexus. It's almost like a steel trap, and it gets triggered, right? And then you close shut. So you're pill bugging around your solar plexus. Does that feel right to you?
Yep.
Yeah. Great. So let's imagine that you could shrink yourself down and arrive right in the solar plexus. Okay. Yep. And let's imagine that you can turn a light switch on in there, and you can go right to the hinge of that trap. And I want you to first just walk up and have an experience with it. So you can put your hand on it, you can take a look at it, and let me know what you notice as you do that.
It's big.
It's so big, isn't it? Whoa.
Yeah, I'm really tiny.
Yeah, and it looks very powerful. I mean, certainly more powerful than you is what it seems like, right? Like it springs of its own accord and there's no way you'd be able to open it, you know?
Yeah, it kind of feels like I'm much younger.
Yeah. Yep. I see that too. Yeah, because this is, you know, from your core wounding. This feeling of like, I opened, I did a thing, and then I wasn't safe. I had to close. Yep. So let's check in with your little girl there. You know, that's checking out this big hinge. And let's see what she has to say about it. Like, does she like it? Does she not like it?
She's super curious. And she's kind of standing on her tiptoes.
Yeah. I think she looks a little proud of it too, don't you think?
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of like,
Yeah, she's like, look what I did. Nobody's getting in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because that was a really good mechanism for whatever was scaring her, whatever reason she had for closing. She created a really powerful mechanism to make sure that happened, didn't she?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's check in with her and see, is there anything that she would like to tell you about it? Or is there any reason that we couldn't make this smaller, you know, so that we could open it? Like, what does she need us to know about it?
She wants me to know that she can open it all by herself.
Yeah, would she be willing to show you how she can open it?
Yeah, it's like she wants to get a box or something to stand on.
Uh-huh. Great. Can you help her do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
She's far less concerned than I am about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's serious. And
Yes.
she kind of like, I'm a big girl, I can do it.
Love that. So let her be your teacher and show you how she goes about opening this giant mechanism.
Yeah, she's just on the box opening it. Like, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Great. Good. So I wonder if you might have a conversation with her and let her know, like, super impressive. And as a grown-up, I don't know how to operate this thing. And sometimes I need to be open when it's closing. And so is it possible we might remodel this so that we'll both know how to open it? How would she feel about that?
Yeah. She's just basically saying it's just all about being curious, and then everything goes away, all the fear.
Ooh, she's smart.
Yeah.
She's so smart.
She knows it.
I like her.
She's kind of like, what's there to be so concerned about?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, great. I love that. So I wonder if we could get curious about, do we even need this steel trap in here? If we're going to commit to being curious, do we need a mechanism like this?
Feels to me a little, I'm nervous to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not saying that.
Uh-huh.
I am.
Yep. How would you feel if we made maybe just a smaller one? Or made one that has less of a hair trigger?
Okay. Yeah, it feels like dangerous.
Yeah, right? It feels like a bear trap. So to me, if we could make one where there's maybe a lever where you'd have to be choiceful, like this isn't safe, so I'm closing, at least that would give you a pause, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Great. So let's imagine there's a giant grounding receptacle in the floor beside where the trap is. And then maybe you and she can push it over, or if you need some helpers, you could bring in a construction crew to help dismantle it and put it down the grounding receptacle.
Okay.
Perfect. Let me know when it's out.
It's out.
Okay, awesome. Great. So let's go ahead and cover the grounding receptacle. Let's imagine you can spray this whole area with gold. So you have like a hose with a sprayer, and you can just coat the whole space with gold. There's just some good, like, refreshing, divine energy to sort of cleanse the space.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Good. And then let's decide what kind of a mechanism you'd like to put in here, if anything.
To open it?
In case you would need to close it. So a minute ago, you were thinking you would still need some kind of a mechanism to close if it wasn't safe, but you may not need that now that that's gone. So just kind of check and see how it feels.
I kind of feel like I'm having a trust thing come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know about all this.
I feel like it's a big leap to go from that much of a mechanism to nothing.
Yeah.
So I think it would serve you in this transition. So we could do like a lever, or we could do like like one of those wheels on a submarine where when you turn it, it actually closes a portal or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's install one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the wheel because it would take even more time to close it, so you still have even more time to be choiceful and decide.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you could close it some, because sometimes you might decide you want to be just a little less open, not all the way closed,
Oh, that feels better.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, I see your little girl. She's got like a little ship's hat on, and she's like playing with the wheel. So cute.
Yeah, she's definitely not scared.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this will be a place where you can come back and play. So if you notice that mechanism get tripped, You may notice it beforehand, like, I'm not feeling safe, and then you can come in and decide if you want to close it or not. Or you may notice it after the fact, right? Because this is habit. So you may notice like, I got frozen again, or I got closed. And then you come back in here and you know this mechanism now. So then you can play with, is it safe to open? What would need to happen? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that feels good.
Mm-hmm. And this solar plexus is one of the main chakras for you. I think you're also a shapeshifter. So this will be a place that will call a lot of attention ongoingly, as far as healing your soul path. So, don't feel like, oh, I didn't do it right. Now I have to go back in the solar plexus. This will just kind of be your go-to because that's how you're made. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Good work, Carolyn. Thank you for being here and letting us witness your medicine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, love. Well, bye for now. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you for witnessing that beautiful medicine. And, my biggest hope is that as we witness one another sharing our stuck places, we learn to give ourselves more grace, so that we don't have to waste time in beating ourselves up or wondering what's wrong with us. But instead, we can just skip all of that and move toward this space of curiosity, like, oh, what is this? And how does it serve? And how might I move it if it doesn't? All the while, just loving ourselves exactly as we are and exactly as we aren't. So for now, we will close this portal of our becoming, and we will join together next week for more exploration of wild soul medicine. Until then, my sisters, bye for now.
We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination, for God's sake. A revelation, for God's sake. An inspiration, for God's sake. Illumination, for God's sake. For God's sake. For God's sake. For God's sake.